The night the bus arrived late, I decided I would not. Bergen rain stitched the streets together in silver lines while I checked the time and clutched the envelope. 2 weeks of tips, folded 3 times so it felt thicker than it was. Rent was due tomorrow. If I paid on time, I'd keep the room with the window that caught an hour of sun at noon. If I didn't, I'd be searching for another basement that smelled like someone else's life. My phone buzzed, a transfer reminder from my sister, exam fees due by midnight. I had promised I'd help this month. I kept walking, telling the numbers to behave, telling my breath to slow down. At the bus stop, an old man in a red cap tried to shield a paper bag from the rain. The bottom sagged, the fruit inside thumped the pavement, and he stared at the mess a second too long. I picked up an apple and handed it back. "Tak," he said softly, and I heard my mother's voice layered under his, the way voices from home sometimes ride on top of strangers. The bus headlights bloomed. I tucked the envelope deeper into my jacket and stepped on, as if stepping into a promise I couldn't afford to break. The driver's radio murmured a weather warning, colder by morning, black ice possible. People swiped cards and retreated into screens. I counted stops, mapping out the night like a tightrope with no net. The envelope pressed against my ribs. I thought about the coffee machine at work that sputters before it pours, about my boss who says, "good job," like the words cost him money, about the small ways a life can say, "not yet." A teenage girl in a yellow beanie got on, shaking rain from her sleeves, sneakers squeaking. She searched her pockets, then the floor, then her pockets again, panic rising like steam. "I lost my pass," she whispered to no one. The driver glanced in the mirror and waited. Her voice cracked. "Please, I'm late for the overnight shift." I saw my sister in her, the same thin determination when the world pushes back. I tapped my card and nodded to the driver. "One more." The girl mouthed, "Thank you," eyes shining in that way people thank you when the help is both too small and exactly enough. A few stops later, she pulled the cord, waved once, and disappeared into the rain. The bus felt warmer after she left, as if kindness had body heat. My stop was next. I stood and the envelope slid from my jacket to the aisle, edges darkening in a small puddle of slush. I grabbed it, but a corner stayed behind, torn open just enough for the bus to breathe on the cash. 2 notes fluttered out, stuck to the floor. I knelt and pressed them back, laughing under my breath at the way money misbehaves when you need it to act mature. That's when I saw him. Another passenger, mid-30s, damp hair, the look of someone whose day never decided to start. He held the calloused posture of people who lift things for a living. "You dropped this," he said, offering a photo I hadn't realized had fallen too. My sister in her graduation scarf, smile a size too big for her face. "Big exam?" he asked. I nodded. "Big rent," I added. He grinned at the floor like it was a joke we were both in on. "I know a landlord who waits exactly 0 minutes." The bus jerked, and my stop slipped behind us like a choice I didn't make on time. I pulled the cord again, and the driver gave me that look drivers give when you've asked for a second chance and the city has already said no. I walked back in the rain, counting it as a tax for being human. The building's hallway smelled like boiled potatoes and laundry heat. I laid the envelope on my small table and split the money. Rent on the left, exam on the right, groceries floating confused in the middle. I wanted the numbers to be elastic, to stretch a little, to forgive me. My phone buzzed. My sister. "I can delay the fee a week." I typed, "No, you study. I'll handle it," and pressed send before the math could vote. Then a knock. It was the man from the bus, holding my photo in a plastic sleeve. "You dropped this outside." I must have missed a second corner of the envelope. He hovered in the doorframe, awkward, decent. "I live 2 floors down," he said. "I also know a place that's hiring. Night shifts, warehouse, decent pay, quick start." I should have said I already had 2 jobs. Instead, I said, "Tell me where." He gave me a name, a time, and an address by the docks. "The manager's strict," he added, "but he notices the right things." He tapped the photo. Like this. At the warehouse, a woman with a clipboard watched me arrive 5 minutes early, soaked but steady. "You're the friend of Eric from the bus," she said, so that's his name. "He said you paid for a stranger and lost your stop. People who help when it's raining usually help when it's hard." The job was boxes, more boxes, then heavier boxes. The choreography of necessity. I stacked quietly, found the rhythm, kept promises to gravity. At break, the manager nodded toward the clock. "You're careful," he said, "and you show up." He slid a paper across the table. "Sign here. From tonight, higher rate." I thought of the envelope at home, of the rent leaning left, and the exam leaning right, of how sometimes the city pays you back with interest only after checking your receipts. When I walked out at dawn, the rain had turned to a shy kind of snow. The blue bus rolled by, and in its window I saw the girl with the yellow beanie asleep against the glass, safe enough to let a morning carry her. My phone lit up. My sister's message. "Paid. Thank you. I'll make you proud." I typed back, "You already do," and felt that inside light switch on again. Not a jackpot, not a miracle, just the simple math of small kindnesses adding up until they equal a life you can stand inside without holding your breath.